Speaking of our website is whatsonsports.com. You can go over anytime you want to and read some really great articles. And also, you can send us your questions that we will answer on this show. We're happy to do it. Happy to answer your questions to the best of our ability. We invite you to do that. Send us your questions. And today I'm going to answer some questions that came in just recently. After losing to the New Orleans Saints, is it time for the Chicago Bears to move on from Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback? Listen, I watched that game yesterday in detail. I thought Trubisky played a pretty good game. I think the game would have been much different if not for a dropped, perfectly thrown pass into the end zone. Trubisky hits a guy, right in his hands, dropped the ball. I want to say his name was Nix. I can't remember his last name, to be honest. 83 for the Bears. Dropped the ball that should have been a touchdown. That's a different game if he catches that ball. It's a different game, not only on the scoreboard, but in the way that it's called. It opens up so many other things. Chicago can stick to the run, and Trubisky can have a lot more play action. That play, that singular play, was the difference in the entire game. Was a difference in the entire game and how the game was played, how the game was called, and therefore how Trubisky was allowed to play. So should they move on from Trubisky? I don't know. You watch this guy play, especially the last 5 games of the year, and he looks like there's some potential there. So Chicago, to their credit, realized that what they were doing with Trubisky before wasn't working. They changed their play calling. It seems to fit him a lot better. If you're going to dedicate yourself to Mitchell Trubisky being your quarterback, you're going to have to change things to fit his style instead of constantly taking a quarterback like Trubisky and making him fit into your style. Whoever worked with Josh Allen in Chicago, these guys have the mirror cloned skill sets. They're both tall. They're both big, strapping kids. They both got, like shotguns for arms, and they've both got the ability to run, move the pocket. The difference is that Josh Allen is here when it comes to like his mental acuity for the game, and I don't think Trubisky's caught up to him. And a lot of that has to do with the way he's been coached. So a lot of times as a manager, as a coach, I think you need to look at yourself and you need to be able to compare what you've done and how you've been able to bring your employees, how you've been able to bring your players up to a different level, up to a different standard. And I would say that Chicago has failed miserably in bringing Trubisky up to a standard that he should be for a number 2 overall pick. So I'm not sure it's time to give up on him. If it is time to give up for him, I guarantee that Mitchell Trubisky will not be on the streets for long. Somebody will pick him up right away as a reclamation project or even as a possible starter and give him an opportunity. So I would hate to see Chicago look back on this moment and say, wow, we really should have coached up Mitchell Trubisky in a better way. By the way, there are some Chicago fans watching this right now that are just screaming, no! So let's go on to our next question. Which of the non-NFL teams have the best chance of making the playoffs next season? This is easy for me. The Miami Dolphins have got the best chance. They should have made it this year. They had an epic meltdown in Week 17. If not for that, they would have made it this year. So whether the Dolphins stick with Tua or end up with a Deshaun Watson somehow, that defense is put together to be one that can bring you to the playoffs all by itself. You've got a great secondary, you've got a pass rush, and you've got decent linebackers. You can get yourself to the playoffs. Now, the Dolphins can go one of 2 ways. They can trade Tua and some first-round picks and try to get Deshaun Watson. That immediately makes you a better team. What it doesn't do is it doesn't fix the gap that you have at wide receiver, the talent that you need there. But perhaps you bring in a Watson and then you hit the free agent market and you fill your skill positions up so that Watson has some weapons. If you stick with Tua, you've got 2 first-round picks this year. You've got 2 second-round picks, and you've got cap space. You can fill that team up with talent, which is what you need to do. There needs to be some scary people on offense, and right now you don't have that. You've got a pretty middling, slightly above average offense, unless your backup quarterback's playing, and then it's slightly scary and slightly dangerous. But to me, that defense is what will take you to the next level. So what team could make it to the playoffs next year? For me, it's the Miami Dolphins, number 1. And number 2, Washington Redskins. And for the exact same reasons that we're talking about with the Dolphins. And I know the Redskins already made the playoffs, but those are my 2 teams next year that I think are going to take huge, huge steps. Now, unless there's some huge change in free agency, that'll be my calls. For next year, Miami Dolphins, Washington Redskins are the 2 teams I see taking the biggest leap the Miami Dolphins are the one team that did make the playoffs that I see making the playoffs next year. Last question of the day. Does the LA Rams, okay, this is written poorly, but do the LA Rams stand any chance in defeating the Green Bay Packers during the divisional playoffs? Yes, they do, because the LA Rams have got a defense, and they've got someone that can lock down the best wide receiver on the field. So Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey are an incredible combination. Aaron Donald will blow up the pocket, will rush from the outside. You don't know where he's coming from. A different guy has to take on Aaron Donald at all points. If you watch the Rams game at all yesterday, at some points there would be 3 Rams on the left side of the offensive line and only Aaron Donald on the right side of the offensive line. Everyone else is getting one-on-one blocking, and Aaron Donald will have 2 or 3 guys trying to slow him down and still failing to do so. The guy is an absolute positive beast. Now, he did injure himself in this game. If he cannot play on Sunday against the Packers, all bets are off. The Packers will roll over them. But if he can play, I think this is going to be a much tighter and much tougher game than the Packers want to actually have to deal with. And that's what I'm telling you. Keep an eye on Donald and his injury throughout the week. See what's going to happen. If he gets on the field, the Packers are going to have a fight on their hands. Are they going to win? I believe the Packers will still win. But I believe that the Rams will most definitely have a chance to take it to the Packers. A couple turnovers, a couple mistakes by the Packers, and the game could go the other way. So, yeah, I think the Rams are a real team. My name is John Todora. This has been the What's on Sports podcast. We come to you live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:30 in the morning. Give you good stuff. Good stuff. Lots of cool things happening on the website this week. Make sure you guys go over and check out whatsonsports.com and check out our sponsor one last time. It's sportstradingsystems.com. Download the show on your favorite podcast platform. We're out of here.